Well, as 2025 began, I say things are looking great in the world of pro wrestling. As of today, we are going to be reviewing ChocoPro's much recent event with number 419 featuring many matches on this one. And then, of course, we have TNA, the first show of course, 2025, featuring many matches. But of course, the bigger issue is we get to the next pay per view, Genesis. But at the same time, Jordan Grace is still dealing with the effects of Tessa Blanchard, who right now is claiming her territory as the head of the TNA Knockouts division. So we'll be going through that as well. And then we go with Ring of Honor featuring the ROH Women's World Television title match. Red Velvet defends her belt against Hanako from Stardom, so that's going to be a fun match. And we do have a proving ground match for the ROH World Television title. Commander will face off against the so-called QT Marshall, and we'll see how that will roll up. But first things first, as you all know, I mentioned there's still some events I have been unable to review throughout 2024, mostly from last month in December. So we're going to do that as well. The one we're going to do right now is Pro Wrestling Freedoms from Japan, which is featuring a lot of death matches in this one. Jun Kasai produced, of course, the annual Blood Xmas event, which is a lot of fun. He, of course, is part of either the semi-main event or the main event, so that's going to be a lot of fun to review. And then we cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been set aside. So beam me up, Scotty. So let's begin with our first review, and this is from the Japanese promotion Pro Wrestling Freedoms. Okay, Pro Wrestling Freedoms, or just simply Freedoms. Man, it's been a while since I did a review for one of these things. Now, for those who are new to the channel, you're probably wondering, what the hell is Pro Wrestling Freedoms? So let me give you guys a brief update on this one. This promotion was started out to be for both either straight up matches or death matches. So mostly the death matches are happening at the end of the event. So we have wrestlers like Jun Kasai, um, what's her name, Mamana Sasaki, Takashi Sasaki, those guys. I think it's one of the Sasaki boys that actually started this promotion. So we have many death matches taking place, and there's only about three championship match titles in this. I mean, tag titles, world title. I forgot what was the other one, but yes. So we have that as well. So this particular event, when it happens every once a year, Jun Kasai produces it. This one is a Blood Xmas. So basically, you ask yourself, how can people do death matches during Christmas Day? Don't ask me why. I don't even want to question it. Hell, this is Jun Kasai's show, who's a legend in the death match scene. So don't question it. But however, it's a lot of fun. If you guys probably know what I mean. Now, our first match, we have an 8 man, or well, there's one woman in this match, 8 man tag match. We have the Brahmin brothers, Ki and Shu. They team up with Eri, consisting of Toshiyuki Sakura and Ku Mo, Mogamel. They take on Rina Yamashita, Minoru Fujita, Mamana Sasaki, and Kentaro Hashizu. So yeah, it's the same Kentaro Hashizu from PPP Tokyo. So it's interesting that there's going to be a lot of toys being played, especially when it comes to Brahmin Bros. They will always bring suitcases and a goddamn bowling ball. But however, that did not do any well because apparently one of the Brahmin brothers, I can't tell which one, accidentally throw some white powder on the other and allowed for, of course, Minoru Fujita to pick up the win with a roll up. So basically, that was one of the Brahmin brothers' fault. So, but that does allow for Yamashita, Fujita, Sasaki, and Hashizu to pick up the win. Our next match, we have tag team action. We have Reka and Takahiro Katori. They take on Dragon Libre and Kentaro. Now, nothing too significant on this one. I wasn't too sure where this match was going to go. But however, it was Dragon Libre that was able to pick up the win by rolling up, of course, Kotaro like in a somewhat of a sunset flip type. But it was a doable pinfall, and just like that, it was over. 1, 2, 3. You're done. Now, our next match, we have Kengo teaming up with um, Tatsushito Takaiwa. He takes on Guy Hawks and Yuya Suzumo, better known as F Swag. Nothing too significant on this one, but I did notice there were a bit of certain moments in this match when it comes to guys wrestling, wrestling Takaiwa, who is a veteran in the Japanese wrestling scene. That it seems like a bit botch. I don't know if you guys ever seen that. I mean, you can see some events, but however, it was of course Takaiwa with the Death Valley driver onto Gaia Ox that allowed him to pick up the win. Now, our next match is a very unique one. This one is a championship match called the Barefoot King title Championship, and this is called a Barefoot Slicer Death Match. So that means you're wrestling barefoot. Now, I know what you're gonna think. That's gonna hurt like hell. I mean, do you guys remember that Unagi Sayaka event that she had earlier in 2024? There was this thing called the Sandals Death Match. I actually took a look at it. There was some stuff on the sandals, and it hurts like hell. Sayuri was one of them. So is Risa Serra, Miyuki Takase, and Tehamna. But this one is all barefoot. Of course, there was going to be a lot of sharp objects. You probably would think, ugh, that's going to hurt like hell. But it did. But it was, of course, between, what's their names? Tomoya Hirada and the champion Takayuki Ueki. So you can guess how this was going to go. I mean, there was someone who had its skewers and up to the feet. I'm like, oh, that's got to hurt like hell. It did, you know. I mean, there was also blood coming in the faces, but in the end, it was Ueki who picked up the pinfall on Hirada with a somewhat of a very interesting move that I've seen. I don't know what they call it, but it allowed him to pick up the win and retain the belt. So just like that, it was over. Now our next match, this is for the King of Freedom's World Tag Team titles in a Death Board and Weapons death match. So we have the challengers Kenji Fukimoto and Violento Jack taking on Yamato from Dragon Gate and Takashi Sasaki. Now, of course, you're going to see a lot of plunder. I mean, barbed wires, stuff on boards and all this other stuff, other types of plunder you can use to make someone bleed. But in the end, it was, of course, um, what's the name? A Fukimoto with a small package pile driver on Suzumu, no, on Sasaki that allowed them to pick up the win. So that was pretty much how it ends. Now our next match, we have a hardcore match. We have Yusako Ito and Masashi Takeda, who is a bit crazy, takes on Jun Masaoka and, of course, one of the best tough match wrestlers of all time, Jun Kasai. So you can guess this match was going to be crazy with all, you know, sharp objects using all this other ways. But towards the end, we saw some great cohesion between Masaoka and Kasai. But it was Masaoka who picked up the win with Ito, and just like that, it was completely over. Now for our main event, this one is a glass board and fluorescent light tube death match. So basically, we have some light tubes all over it. It's between Toto Sugiura and Daisuke Mosaaki, Masaoka. So you can guess how this is going to be. I mean, tons of tubes, glass tubes to be being used. So it was going to be bloody. There's going to be pain, all of it. But towards the end, it was Sugiura who picked up the win when he put a stack, like a big gigantic stack of taped tubes onto, of course, Masaoka and gave a punch, like a forearm punch onto, the light tubes to Masaoka, and just like that, Masaoka was completely down, out for the count. 1, 2, 3. It was over. So we'll see what happens down the road with that. So that's pretty much with Freedom. So I don't know when will be the next time I get to see this. But I hope you guys get a good perspective of this kind of promotion you probably never heard of. But yes, but right now I think we are done with this promotion. Let's move on with the next one, and this one is with ChocoPro. As you all know, ChocoPro started out great for 2025. This is day 2 for them, with number 419. Of course, we have Sayaka, who opened up the show, giving the greetings to the fans, and not to mention the info. What strangely is, she was not participating in any of the matches, but she doesn't mind helping out with the promotion. But she did get involved herself in the Jonkin tournament, but we'll get to that in a bit. Now, our first match, we have a tag team match. We have Chiko Shikawa teaming up with Masahiro Takanashi, taking on Tokiko Kihara and Antonio Honda, our current tag team champions, in a non-title match. Now, however, as you all know, I haven't seen the event where these two, with Tokiko and Honda, win the tag belts. I'm sure we'll see it once it's uploaded on the YouTube channel. I can't wait to review that one for all of you. Now, of course, you would think in some capacity that if there is any chances Chi and Masa could win this match, there is the possibility. I mean, we know Masa he's a very slick and clever individual. Chi, she's a bit more energetic and try to use all her energy to wear out her opponents. But however, that was not the case because Chi was the one who ended up being on the wrong side of the ghetto clutch by Honda, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have another tag team match. We have Hiroya Iwata teaming up with Soy from Evolution. They take on, coming all the way from Setup from Thailand, Matchat, and of course the founder of Choco Pro, formerly known as Got to Move, Emi Sakura. So it's a good thing that these two team up because there is that strong bond between Emi Sakura when she started got to move promotion back in Thailand. But however, they're facing a bit of the rookie status here, and you would think that that's always been the factor that would question this match. However, it was Sakura who, in fact, won this match by applying a crossface on Hiroyi, and just like that, Hiroyi had no choice but to tap. Now, our next match, we have Kaho Hiromi teaming up with Shin Dragon, consistent of Shin Suzuki and Shonshiru, former tag champions. They take on Sayaka Obihiro, or as we call her because of the other Sayaka, Obi. She teams up with the Best Bros, former tag champions, and not to mention one of them being our current Super Agent champion, Mei Shruga, and of course her best bro, Balin Aki, by her side. But so basically, you can guess how this match was going to be, and of course, we're going to see that clash between both Kaho and Mei because they're about the same height, same kind of childish behavior, but Mei is a bit of evilish, childish way, unlike Kaho, who is a bit sweet, cuter, and all that. But unfortunately, Mei Shruga was able to pick up the pinfall on Kaho. But one way or the other, Kaho will have her day where she pins her. So that's only one when that day happens. Now our next thing we have is the Jonkin tournament. So this was a very difficult thing to watch. Kaho did not make it past the first round. But I can tell you that this ended up with between Sayaka and Mei. Now Mei has won it multiple times, but Sayaka was able to win the Jonkin tournament. So even though she did not participate in any of the matches, at least she gets to walk away. However, during the post show, uh, the entire roster of the night decided to celebrate Antonio Honda's birthday. So happy birthday, man! So it was a lot of fun to see that. So yes, they bring a cake for him, and of course they give him some time to speak his mind and all that. But it's a lot of fun. So that's pretty much what happened for ChocoPro. I believe it's time for TNA. Okay, TNA, their first show of 2025. Now, as you know, we got the upcoming pay per view Genesis taking place later on this month. So, battle lines are now being drawn out for this one. However, it opened up with Joe Hendry doing his promo talking about his New Year's resolution because we know his goal is to become the TNA World Champion. However, the current TNA World Champions, younger Ryan Meneth, has some reservations towards Joe Hendry. As you all know, people took fun of him saying he is Nick Meneth's brother. The end. So, however, apparently, of course, Hendry was not taking this whole thing with him lightly, so he decided to put him in a match against Rhino, and that's how it started. However, the match did not go exactly like probably what Rhino would have wanted. Meneth brought in a chair, and then, of course, out of curiosity, because of Rhino's history with ECW, he used the chair on Meneth, disqualifying himself. He was intending to gore him regardless if he didn't win or not. But the fault goes to Ryan Meneth for bringing the chair, getting himself hurt. But that's how it goes. Now, Gia Miller conducts an interview with Jordan Grace talking about what's happening on her upcoming main event. But the one thing that is on our mind is Tessa Blanchard. Now, as you all know, Tessa Blanchard claims that she is the one who runs the division. But Jordan Grace, how do I say, begs to differ in some capacity. Now, we know that Tessa Blanchard could have run the division, but now we can all agree Jordan Grace has elevated the division with her presence. I mean, she has defended the TNA Knockouts title multiple times. She's been TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion. So basically, she feels that Tessa Blanchard is now making her way. Now that the elevation, now she wants to claim it's her turf. So that's always been what it is. But of course, Jordan Grace wasn't going to take that kindly one way or the other. Now, of course, the Rascals, as you know, are having their New Year's resolution. However, they were approached by the GOATs of tag team, the Hardys. So basically, they have a nice chit chat with them, saying, that they reminded of themselves when they were their age. So basically, that's a good thing. So they decided to be generous, to give him a shot of the tag team titles in Genesis. However, they said there's two outcomes how he sees. One, that of course, despite that they respect, of course, the Rascals being the Rascals, that they will put every best of energy. But if they do beat the Hardys, they will earn the respect knowing that they've proven that the tag team division will be by our side. So I have to say, is a good thing. Now, our next match, we have Kushida versus Ace Austin. So this was a very interesting match. Uh, so Kushida was intending to dismantle, of course, the entire time Ace Austin's arm, but however, he was able to overturn it when he applied the fold, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 was over. But as soon as the match was over, Ace Austin, as you all know, his tag partner, part of the ABC, told him that he gave him his blessing to pursue in singles action. So he did stated that he wants to go for the big title. But Moose, in the other hand, is more like saying to him, that the X Division title is the much bigger title than the TNA World title. But of course, Ace reminded him, telling him, I've been X Division champion 3 times. I don't mind making it a 4th. However, the director of Authority, Santino Marella, decided, how about this? How about you, Moose, defend your X Division title at Genesis against Ace Austin? So, looks like it's going to happen. Now, we did see a bit of an interesting segment with Eric Young talking with Steve Macklin. Of course, Macklin is not happy with the results of what happened at what was it? At the last pay-per-view. And of course, he tells him he's pissed off, and then John Gresham shows up. It's like, look, guys, look, Gresham, you're pissed. Macklin, you're pissed. I'm pissed too. So what do you want to do about it? What do you want to do? But that kind of presented them themselves because, of course, the system showed up talking about how Moose is getting an opportunity in Genesis. So we see JDC, Myers, and of course Edwards, and that's where all hell broke loose. So it's like, oh, where the opportunity arrived. So they took their frustrations out on them, despite that they didn't do nothing to them. Now, of course, Ryan Meneth, after being injured by Rhino, Big Brother decided to show up. And then, of course, we did see Rhino showing up, and then Joe Hendry, along with Santino, decided, how about this? Let's have a preview match between you and me. You team up with your brother, Ryan, while I team up with Rhino. So, that pretty much sets it all up. So, we may see that match sooner than we think. Now, Mike Santana, as you all know, ever since his return to TNA, he has one goal in mind, and that's the TNA title. But however, as you know, he decides, of course, that he has declared himself the new standard of TNA. However, someone who has been recognized as the standard of TNA once before had something to say, and that is, of course, Josh Alexander, former TNA World Champion. He brought back, of course, the Northern Armory, Judas Ikra, and Travis Williams. However, he did remind them about the greatest match that he had with Santana, the North, which features him and All Ego Ethan Page, featuring LAX, Santana, and Ortiz. So that kind of sets it up right there. But however, Mike Santana said, how about this? Next week, I take on the 3 of you 1 by 1. So basically, as you all know, Mike Santana is no stranger dealing with factions all by himself. He succeeded this destroying the system. Can he do the same thing to the Northern Armory? Most likely he could, but we will see what happens. Now, as you know, Frank Kazarian, he is not surprised about what's going to happen in Genesis because he has the Call Your Shot Gauntlet trophy that he can cash in at any time, any place, anywhere for a TNA World title match. Then he tried to talk to Leon Slater, trying to have him hold his belt, but his cup. But however, Leon Slater told him, "Look, I want to build my own legacy. I can do this on my own." However, JDC doesn't think that he has what it takes, but we'll see when that happens. Now, Nick Meneth had some words to say regarding about Joe Hendry, so you probably can guess that he thinks that this is going to be a very interesting development. So we'll see where that goes. Now, as for our main event, we have Heather and Ash by Elegance along with that Chihuahua. She teams up with Tasha Steelz and Rosemary. They take on Spitfire, our current TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, Danny Luna and Jody Threat. She teams up with the current TNA Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich and the former TNA Knockouts World Champion Jordan Grace. So you can tell this match was going to be a very interesting thing that was going to go on. But I wasn't too sure where it's going to go. We do know that Tasha Steelz has her mindset on TNA Knockouts title, but however, she ended up being the one losing this match, all thanks um, to Masha Slamovich, and just like that, it was over. However, during the post match, Tessa Blanchard showed up and attacked Jordan Grace. We did see Ash and Heather attack Spitfire, and Rosemary attacked Masha, but later she spit green mist onto her. However, Tessa Blanchard dragged Jordan Grace to the back and then dragged her with her bag and dragged her out to the building, telling her, "Stay out! This is my house, my division," claiming that this is her place. Jordan Grace has no right to be there. So it's more like what Jordan Grace was talking about. Like, she created this division when she was gone, and now she wants to claim it because she did not do anything. So we'll see what happens down the road. So next week's going to be a lot of interesting, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have more battle line draws before Genesis. But until then, we'll leave things as it is with TNA and move on with our next and final review, Ring of Honor. Okay, our last review, Ring of Honor. We opened up with the Ring of Honor World Women's Television title. Hanako, all coming from Stardom, who had a good match against Harley Quinn, probably earned the right to have this match against Red Velvet. Now, however, Red Velvet did recently defended this belt at Final Battle against Layla Hirsch. But however, of course, we were going to see how much of Hanako has evolved. We know that she has learned some new methods while she was here in the States. But when it comes to Red Velvet, we have seen a new, different type of attitude of late. But however, it was Red Velvet with the At Your Mama's Kitchen that actually sealed the deal for her to retain the belt. But we did see an interview with her about they're questioning her attitude, but of course Red Velvet had no intentions to talk about it. But Layla Hirsch, who still has some issues towards her for what she did at Final Battle, questioned it too. However, Red Velvet decided to give her another opportunity, but under her time. So the real question is, when will that happen? Well, that's a good question, so we will see. Our next match, we have Action Andretti and Leo Rush. As you know, with their recent attitude of late, they take on Rocky Romero and Homicide. Now, you would think that this is going to be an interesting match. We know that Leo Rush and Andretti have higher ambitions to obtain gold belts on their waist. But however, their attitude also was the reason of this whole thing for their split with Top Flight. Andretti actually low blowed Homicide. The ref didn't even see it, and then he rolled him up, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, that was over. So we will see when that day comes when they face the AW World Tag Team Champions Private Party. Our next match, we have Harley Cameron taking on Ashley Voss, who I haven't seen for quite some time. But it was great to see her. But as you know, last time we had seen her in some good matches, but she was able to walk away with the win when she applied the Shining Wizard, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Shane Taylor's promotion. We have, of course, the Infantry, the Captain Sean Dean, and Carly Bravo, with the current ROH Pure Wrestling Champion Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor taking on the combined forces of the Iron Savages, Bronson and Boulder, and of course members of the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Reynolds. But of course, we did see some interesting moments where um, both Captain Sean Dean and Carly Bravo took a trip to Titty City, which was very unusual. But however, this match went into a different method thanks to Trish Adora interfering while the ref didn't see it, costing, of course, Uno that ended up on the Border City stretch by Lee Moriarty. So just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, we have a proving ground match for the ROH World Television title. QT Marshall, takes on Commander. Now, however, this was a very unusual thing, but the outcome was a very interesting. Now, on rare occasions, you only last 10 minutes. If you're able to last 10 minutes, then you get a shot of the title of your choosing that you were facing. We've seen that with, of course, with the infantry. We've seen that with certain wrestlers, but not a majority of the time. But this time, QT Marshall had the plan right there. He lasted 10 minutes, allowing him to secure a title shot. So the real question is, can Commander try to hold it? I mean, he recently won this belt back in a final battle, but we'll see what happens. But for now, we'll end things here with ROH. We'll see what happens next week. But let's move on with our last and final thing, and I believe that is, of course, news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. So let's begin with upcoming events with the promotions. As you know, we have GCW and we have two events from starting of this month in 2025. The first one, as you know, we have the January 10th for Rochester, New York. Sorry, pal. Two matches have been announced. Sydney Akeem, formerly known as Scripps and Reggie, will be in action to take on Marcus Mathers. So that's going to be one hell of a match to hear about. And then, of course, we have Drew Parker taking on Ciclope. So I'm sure that's gonna be a bloody murder type match if you don't see one. And then we have, of course, the London event taking place on the 26th, live in London. We have tag team action. We have the Garbage Daddies, Alec Price and Cole Radrick. They take on the Lycos Gym, Lycos Kid 1 and Lycos Kids 2. So that's gonna be a lot of fun to enjoy. Then we have, of course, Deadlock Pro Wrestling with You Already Know on the 17th of January. They just announced for the DPW National Championship Elimination Qualifier match. Kevin Blackwood will face Titus Alexander in this match. So whoever wins this one will proceed in this elimination thingy. AJ Francis was announced that he will participate in a promotion based out of Atlanta, Georgia called Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, or AWE, for their event on the 23rd of February called Shit Hit Different. So that's pretty much the title right there. And then finally, West Coast Pro with the West Coast Best Coast event taking place on March 22nd. Marcus Mathers will be making his West Coast Pro debut. So that's going to be a lot of fun to enjoy. Now for our developments. Fightful Select reports David Finlay, his contract status with New Japan will be expiring soon. Now it's still unclear whether he will resign or has any opportunities to go to the promotion. Now remember, his dad is currently working in the Performance Center with WWE. As for his brother, who just recently last year joined the promotion, he is part of NXT Level Up. So that's pretty much what's taking place. Marigold, as you know, they'll debut this new girl named Seri Yamaoka. Apparently, as you all know, many of the Marigold roster members picked numbers. Her number that she picked is number 18, which is considered to be the ace in Japan, but much specifically baseball. I'm not sure if she's a baseball fanatic. That's something I don't know. But yeah, that's what it is. Tetsuya Endo, many of you may have seen him in the promotion with DDT. Well, apparently, he'll be now becoming a regular with Pro Wrestling Noah. He'll be taking an indefinite hiatus with DDT. We do know he'll participate in 3 of the events. 2 events that have been signed with him with DDT. One, of course, with January 3rd and January 5th. But from here on, he'll be going to Noah. It's still unclear whether he'll be transferred or he'll be permanent be there. That is still unclear on that matter, but we'll see. PW Insider has revealed that, of course, there's going to be a bit of a swap in the ring announcers for WWE. They announced for Alicia Taylor will be the ring announcer in Raw. Lillian Garcia will be the ring announcer in SmackDown. Now, as you probably know or heard already, on this past Wednesday, for AEW Dynamite Fight for the Fallen, it was revealed that Samantha Irvin and, of course, Beth Phoenix were in the backstage area of AEW Dynamite this past Wednesday. However, they were just visiting. No, they were not on televised. But as far as we know, uh, Samantha Irvin is still under her non-compete clause. So basically, as long as they're not shown on TV. So pretty much that's what's happening in that world. So that's pretty much what we have for all our updates and everything else. So I believe it's time to say that let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode coming up. As you probably can guess, we do not have, of course, AW Rampage since it's now done. I'm sure probably we still have NXT Level Up, but I'm not too sure. But as we speak, we do have the recent Marigold events. Marigold event, the first show, first dream, featuring all titles will be defended. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we do have the latest Stardom event, New Year's Dream. We do have Tam Nakano will be facing against her former teammate, now freelancer Unagi Sayaka. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Haven't decided any other events. I know we still have some events from 2024, mostly in December, that we need to catch up on. So I will try to get that done as soon as possible. Maybe before mid-month, I can get that done. We'll see. I mean, there's still some events we haven't seen just yet, starting 2025, but we'll get to that. But for right now, we'll leave things as it is. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day.